Let's see what we have.
And you can just move around.
Yeah, don't move. I want to set a camera that I'm not going to be.
Okay. You don't have to go through everything, but you can pick out some
That
stuff.
window decal, 1997 Stanley Cup champs.
I like that.
Yeah,
Look at
pretty
this.
good.
I like the young reporter there.
Yeah, that, I believe I am in Oklahoma City because,
really?
of course,
Yeah.
I got sent back quite a few times to cover the things that were going on with the Oklahoma City bombing. And that's one of the craziest things, Karen, because so I covered the bombing, then moved to Michigan. I knew that I was coming to Michigan. I had agreed to come to Detroit a month before the bombing, but we hadn't told anybody yet.
Okay.
And it got very difficult to leave. But there I am covering the Oklahoma City bombing that day, knowing I'm coming to Detroit, and there starts to emerge a
Michigan militia.
a connection to Michigan.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I got, I covered the McVeigh trial and the execution. So yeah, that's it. Oh, good Olympic picture. Me and, do you know who that is? Can you guess who that is?
Yes. The ice skater.
Right.
I know it.
Dorothy Hamill.
There you go.
Right?
I used to have a Dorothy Hamill haircut,
Of
so I
course,
should remember.
of course.
Everyone did.
And that's what I mean about, my longtime connection to the Olympics. I mean, then there I am, long after I'd watched her as a kid, I get to meet Dorothy Hamill.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it is cool.
Here I am with, you recognize that guy.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, was that recent, but your hair shows me it was not. Is that okay?
That is okay. Yep.
Well, Jay Leno is always gray.
Jay Leno, yes, he was always gray. But he came to Detroit for there was an anniversary of the automobile celebration thing here. And we hosted a special, and he kind of out of nowhere sat in for a couple of segments live because he knows a heck of a lot more about cars than
anybody,
I do.
Right?
Yeah, so that was great.
Is that Tim?
This is a guy that
Tim Russert.
I'm sorry that the picture's so bad, but that's Tim Russert, who was on Flashpoint and who was very much a guiding light for me in the way that you deal with topics on a political interview program like Flashpoint.
Was there anyone you were ever nervous to interview, or a little fanning? Like you're like, oh my gosh, I get to.
Well, I had a couple of people that I completely fanned out over the years. Willie Nelson.
Okay.
I mean, I can think of a number of people but the most nervous that I ever was interviewing Katharine Graham of the Washington Post because she had just put her book out. She came here, and I'm interviewing her in front of basically the whole station is watching the interview, and so is all of Post Newsweek.
Right. So the best of the reporters everywhere, and they're wondering, what kind of questions is he going to ask?
What's he going to ask Katharine Graham? And what I remember, and a question I was kind of proud of, was I said, the day that Richard Nixon resigned, did you think horrible day for the country or pretty good day for the paper? And she said both. Yeah. So,
and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was always so proud of the fact that you and I were working at the Washington Post Company.
Always. Right. That was very cool.
Not only there with the Stanley Cup, but my favorite hockey player, Igor Larionov.
Wow.
And
look at that.
I had my Igor Larionov jersey with me, and he signed it on Red Square.
Wow.
Who gets to do that?
That's a good day.
Come on.
That's a really good day.
Yep.
Wow.
That was great fun. Salt Lake City Olympics with me and one.
Oh, Bernie
Smilovitz.
Yes.
I finally got to, that one.
And you got the cool hat.
I was okay to let my Western self, really fly there. But we were basically in Salt Lake for a month together, and
that's a great assignment.
That was great fun. Yeah. The Athens Olympics.
Oh man.
And the Acropolis, and Tim Pamplin.
Yeah, the Night Cam, as many people know him. You guys were a good team.
Well, in fact, I should have mentioned him while we were talking earlier, because that was another great gift of working here. Tim and I became such close friends. He was such a terrific traveling companion, and it also helped that as a photographer, he was MacGyver.
Right.
You know,
he could fix any
He
situation.
could bring in a live shot on a bobby
Right.
pin and
Yep,
a
he could.
big pin. Yeah. This is a crazy picture. So, Sparky Anderson,
Yeah.
Chuck Daly, Ernie Harwell, some guy, Scotty Bowman,
Oh my gosh.
there's Chuck Schmidt of the Lions. Unbelievable. They were all
You're
together.
standing there right in the middle of
I got-
these superstars.
and I got to interview them all. They all, yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of the Stanley Cup, it showed up at the
Oh.
Thanksgiving parade one year.
Look at that. That's great. And Carmen's smile. Wow. Were you a hockey fan before, or you became a bigger one here?
I actually was a Red Wings fan before I ever got to Detroit,
Oh, you
which
were.
was just kind of a weird thing. I can't explain why I was. I liked Steve Yzerman.
Okay.
I wasn't. I mean, I had a lot to learn about hockey. Got here and immediately realized that hockey was a really good way to get through the winters.
Yeah. Really true, right?
Yeah. That's just a picture, and I believe that's Salt Lake. It's just your
that's a good
basic
one.
reporting moment.
Yeah, those are always good.
I love this picture. I have a better version of this picture. It's black and white here, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you the better version because that's a few familiar
Oh,
faces.
goodness gracious.
Bill Bonds,
Yeah.
Eli Zaret, and Mort Krim.
Yeah.
That was a good day.
As we look at this, Mort, I'm sure, gave you advice. What advice do you give Ty?
You know, I think that there's a couple of things. For one thing, I think that Detroiters can smell a phony from 10 feet away.
You have to be authentic.
You have to be your authentic self, and that's the most important thing. And I feel like that's one of the things I really like about Ty is underneath it all, you know, he's a really good guy. He's a good family man. He's a dad of 4, so we really connected over that. A lot of daughters, so we've connected over that too. But yeah, just be Ty, and it'll all
Do
be
you
fine.
remember what Mort told you?
That was one of the things, you
He
know,
said?
was that Detroiters really expect authenticity, and that they are extremely loyal.
They are.
And you know, there are people who, when I got here, they had only watched Channel 4 for their whole lives, and they weren't about to switch. And there were similarly people from 2 and 7, same thing. So fiercely loyal in Detroit. Yeah. That was the first Red Wings parade that day.
Oh, yes,
and
yes,
that
yes.
is me, Carmen Burney, and Brendan Shanahan. Wow. Good day.
That was a great day.
The
First parade.
Yeah.
Yep.
My first job in television was as a photographer. And every once in a while over the years, I've had to pick up the camera. In fact, we were talking about the night of the Pope coming out. Caesar, our photographer, had gone back to check on, we didn't think that they were coming out. And he had gone back to check on some equipment and couldn't get back to us. So fortunately, he had left the camera, and so I picked up and started shooting. And same thing with that that's in Moscow.
Oh, goodness.
Because our photographer that day, Tim Pamplin, just was exhausted and needed a break. So I went out and shot.
That's great. It's important to have that photographer's eye and also a respect.
Yeah, I agree. This, I believe, I think this was Athens, and that's with Bob Costas.
Yeah. Wow.
I believe Athens. And this is such a class. This is so hilariously me. I tend to talk with my hands this way, and this is from Vatican, from just outside the Vatican.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Which
I like that. That's a great shot. You probably would have had to taken that with a disposable or something,
yeah,
right?
I don't even remember who took the picture
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
photographer's in
Yeah,
it.
it's
It must
there.
have been the producer at the time,
Yeah.
because I think I had or a driver or somebody that
Right,
we had
yeah.
from NBC. So that was probably, is it on there? Is the date on there?
See how wide it is? I remember in the 90s there was a gimmick of having a different format film.
Yeah,
Wide
yeah,
shots.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I see
Can you see
something,
it?
but I
yeah, I
don't
don't have my
know.
glasses on.
Oh, it says, no, it ends in a
it's a date.
7.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
But
date.
no, yeah.
But there's more if you want them, but I don't think you need
we're
them.
good.
I think you're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
You know, I just had been you know, for me, family always was the biggest thing. And so even though in my inner being, I long to be a foreign correspondent because it's my favorite
we talked
thing.
about that,
Yeah.
but you want to be home.
It's horrible for a family. You really can't do it. And so that's why I turned out to be so lucky.
Right.
To
You kind of got the best of both worlds.
Completely.
Go do some amazing assignments, but at the end of the day, you still could have dinner with your kids.
Right. Got to feed that hunger to go do all these, you know, and bring the rest of the world, bring the world back to Detroit in a way. If I could, I said this to Kimberly when we talked the other day, if I could give everybody the gift of travel, my gosh.
It's an education.
The world would be such a better place. Yeah. People complain that when you travel with all the food, you know, you gain a lot of weight. Most of the weight that you gain when you travel is in your eyes. And I really wish that a lot of people can't afford it. A lot of people don't have the time. A lot of people don't have the lives that set up for it. So but I just wish I could give everybody the gift of travel to see what goes on in the rest of the world.
What's your next trip?
Hopefully, Scotland. I've never been to Scotland, and yet I am very Scottish. So I need to.
Do you think in 2025?
Yeah. Hopefully in the spring. Yeah.
And it's still yucky and cold here. Well, I mean, it would be still none of us there either.
That's one thing though. Now I can.
You can go whatever you want. You can get us. You can get away. I'm good.
Actually, next trip ought to be New Orleans, don't you think?
Right my God!
Right around Super Bowl weekend.